So the fact is that in the West today, here's the thing. There's this statistic that's always thrown out online, always on YouTube. It's always like, a lot of these self-improvement channels or these red pill channels or whatever. It's always like, oh, well, 80% of men are found unattractive by most females. And it's just kind of thrown out there. No really source of like where that statistic comes from. Maybe there's some kind of study. I don't know. But anyway, that statistic is kind of thrown around a lot. If you watch the whatever, fitness, whatever. Anyway, 80% of men are unattractive to women, okay? But what never is really mentioned is the fact that, because the male perspective is just not respected. So it's like no one seems to care about the fact that women also, I'd say it right now in terms of most men, I would say it's higher. It's actually the opposite for a lot of men. Like most men do not find most Western women or most American women to be attractive. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of fatties out there. There's a lot of lamb whales. There's a lot of ugly ass women that think that they're worth a lot for whatever reason. That's the downside because of the social options and what they've been told, because they're told they're beautiful. They're told that they're constantly fed delusion by their female counterparts who are usually a little more attractive. I notice this all the time with women. See, they don't want to be honest with each other, so they just oh yeah, queen, you're just, even if she's a land whale the size of Timbuktu, they are constantly oh my God, queen, you're so good looking and you should have all the options in the world. It's women don't have to put any effort. They're not expected. This is horrible and actually really damaging to these women that they say this to, because what it does is it encourages bad habits. It doesn't tell them, maybe lose some weight and you'll be able to get the guy that you want. To be honest, I don't really despise women. I don't despise women themselves. I love women. I have a mom. I have two sisters. And I love them and they're my family. But at the same time, I don't like this culture of masculine women. I don't like it. The whole point of women is that they're not masculine, that they're feminine, and that they, that's where the attractiveness goes. And, this whole boss babe masculine culture that women, it's eventually going to bite women in the butt. I think a lot of people are confirming we've won, whatever online, on YouTube. It's that the internet isn't reality, in my opinion. In my opinion, it hasn't really affected the real world yet. The implications, more men starting to realize, maybe these Western women aren't so good and you should go overseas, or maybe there's just no really improving these women. There's no saving these hoes, or not even that's the thing. I would say the top 50% of women, I would say let's narrow it down actually, maybe the top 20% of women are really where most men are concentrating. So it's about the same, honestly, if you think about it. It's about the top tier. Most people are going for top tier on both sides. It's just skewed. Those people who are attractive are still really terrible people. On both sides, the men are these, who are these millionaire or whatever, gazillionaire movie stars, whatever. The people who are getting the majority of women don't really want to settle. They don't want to have kids. They don't want to do anything traditional. A lot of them are affected by that liberal shit. And maybe not all the time. There might be some traditional whatever. But let's just be honest. Most of this is going to die off because they're dating, these top 20 whatever. They're kind of all for these stupid liberal values now. These leftist bullcrap values. And you got feminism, and then you have, kind of fuckboyery. What I call it is, it's not even really leftism. It's just these men who just continuously want to pump and dump, and they don't really they're going to be in their 50s still pumping and dumping, and they're not going to have kids. And I've met guys like this that exist. They exist, who are older, and legit are still getting play, but they're not interested in having a family. I don't see that as much of a difference between the career woman who's going to become a cat lady. It's the same shit. It just doesn't get mentioned because men don't get, it's not looked as a bad thing. Where I think more and more people really, when you look at the cat lady thing, more and more people are going to start shaming that because it is worse. It's like women have all the options in the world. They could just go and have a family if they wanted to, anytime, but they choose not to. And instead, they choose for a life of misery and loneliness. And everybody else is just lonely. And the majority of men who want to have a family can't have a family in the West. There's just no future in the West. Like, with the economy, with the culture, the stupid culture of like, let's go to college, everyone goes to college just because they're programmed basically to waste their money on debt so they can get some shitty job that they're going to hate anyway and end up like fucking, quitting, or even if they do keep that job, they're going to be working for some shitty woman that's probably going to cheat on them. Like, it's bad on both sides, in my opinion. Like, both. The reality of the West right now is that because of this end of polarity with women, we need polarity. Like, we need like women to be feminine, like, and men to be masculine. And it's like, because there's this culture that's continuously pushing this, to men, we're getting like told we need to be alone and enjoy our freedom. It's the same shit though as like, oh, be a woman in your, early 20s and party out your early 20s. You're not allowed to like call out women on this and tell them, maybe this isn't good for you. You're going to be miserable in the long run. You're just going to be horribly miserable. You're going to end up alone with cats. You're going to end up leaving your boyfriend anyway. Like, no relationship is solid. There's nothing sustainable. This isn't sustainable. Like, in the long run, like, this is going to collapse, and we're going to end up going back to, at some point, the traditional family structure. And that's just the reality, guys. That's just the reality of the West. Is eventually this I think will end. I think it's like in the next 30 or 40 years, because there's going to be some cataclysm. There's going to be some war. There'll be something that will reset things back to hopefully to where things are good again, because things are really bad right now, in my opinion. Like, things are really bad in terms of just culture. We're just really broken as a culture. Like, we're more focused on like, transgender rights, gay rights, all this shit that really, like I said, this stuff matters, but it's not really, like, at the end of the day, like, if you can't reproduce, if you can't like kind of add to society, like if there's no future, like, that's where we're going to head. We're going to head where there's a future, and children are the future. So if we're not going to have kids, like, that's ultimately what we're ending up with, is we're not having kids. We're all alone. We're miserable. We're pretending we're happy. We're pretending, oh yeah, I'm happy alone as a guy. Like, in reality, I would like to have a woman. Like, in reality, I don't want to be a MGTOW person. Like, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of resources and I'm perfectly set to have a girlfriend or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I can't find a girlfriend that really has those values. And it's frustrating to find and that's what makes a lot of these women really unattractive, because it's like you talk to them and you just hope that there's some unicorn out there that isn't angry, isn't rude. And it's like I'm working with this girl, like, we're working on like this project. It's like a long story what we're doing. We're doing an athletic project. Let's put it that way. We're working on something. And the project's going to end, and it's not the end of the world. But I immediately, like, the other day, she flipped out pretty much for no reason. Because, as usual, in typical modern woman fashion, it was almost predictable, because I understand. Like, modern women, like, I've been around them my whole life. It's like almost like checking the box. Like, oh, okay, now she got mad about something. She went on the stupid cruise and got all tired, and we lost a whole week because the cruise got stuck in fucking Miami and shit. And what does she fucking do? She fucking, like, gets all mad and, I don't want to do this, I'm so overwhelmed. It's just because you fucking fucked your own shit. Like, you fucking made your own fucking mistakes, and you're taking down everybody else. And the problem is this wouldn't be such an issue if society didn't, or people, were able to, held these women accountable for acting horrible. No, but instead we reward them. We say, oh, that's fine. Act like a freaking psychopath all the time. That's fine. And then what does that do? It just reinforces that behavior. It's just horrible. It's horrible to play. It's sad where we are in society. It's sad to see divorce divorce rates at the level they are, broken families. It's just not sustainable, man. It's gonna either this is gonna happen. The West is gonna collapse, or we're gonna go back to tradition. Peace.